very, very quickly. I finally have a new book coming out. It comes out April 30th. It's called In Wonder Your People. It's a collection of short stories. I wrote it myself, obviously. I made the cover myself, and it's going to be available in hardcover like this, paperback, ebook if you're really broke, and audiobook. I'm recording the audiobook myself, which has been surprisingly harrowing. With my speech impediment. And 2 of the stories here are available on my Patreon in case you want to get a sneak peek real quick. April 30th. I think you should please buy it. Okay, goodbye. My original plan was to wear a suit for this video, for a little like late night kind of thing, like a John Oliver, John Onig, my bad. But, you know, I have to record like 3 videos so I can upload them while I'm on vacation. So ain't nobody got time for that. I've been thinking a lot about the octopus. When I was a kid, I was consistently, chronically bored. I had more toys than most, but I was somewhat sickly and spent a lot of my free time at home watching the other kids play through my window. I'd burned through all the various forms of entertainment made available to me, and I'd placed the burden of my unquenchable thirst on my lovely parents. My lovely parents who, to this day, when trying to quote Baby Tosin, will say, "Mommy, I'm bored," in as nasally a voice as possible, even though I've always been so manful and thug-like, a Morgan Freeman-esque voice, if you will, as I'm sure you can probably tell by now. I've been thinking a lot about the octopus. Apparently, when in captivity, octopuses, my bad. Octopuses will sometimes find a way to escape their tank, literally out of no other reason other than boredom. A mere lack of shit to do will cause them to chase any kind of stimulation available to them, opening lids or twisting knobs, perhaps looking for a glimpse of entertainment, for the promise of something interesting on the other side of the glass. If they are in an aquarium, some are known to enter drains and rejoin the boundless ocean. Some aren't so lucky. Some dry out on the floor, wither away like a raisin in the sun. Die. When I was a kid, I was consistently, chronically bored. I've been thinking a lot about the octopus. I'm bored now too. And unlike Baby Tosin, I know the way out of my tank. In Season 2, Episode 10 of Community, Troy Barnes, played by Childish Gambino himself, turns the fabled 21. He's taking his friends to a bar, and the 2 adults in his life, Jeff and Britta, who have been over 21 for a number of years now, are trying to convince him of the superiority of their respective favorite bars, L Street and the Red Door. Troy, for whatever reason, looks up to them. He admires how easily adulthood comes to them. It also doesn't hurt that Troy is, for lack of a better term, an idiot. Eventually, they decide to go to a third, different bar, Flanagan's Hole. Being an adult, I found, can be intensely boring. Boring in a way that would have melted the brain of Baby Tosin. I have more expensive and sophisticated toys now, Ryzen 7s and lightweight badminton rackets, but the abundance of choice has in some way made it so that I am paralyzed. I have more shit to do now than ever. I have a tiny computer that, if I wanted, could feed me an endless stream of capital C content, but it's a maelstrom, a spiraling, furious tempest that at the center is a deleterious, cacophonous silence. It's the silence of coming home after a night out and sitting in front of the television. It's the silence of laying on your side at 2 a.m., face lit up by the artificial light of a smartphone. It's the silence of playing music while showering, an internal silence we are always trying to run away from, a great, unspeakable, unnameable fear that, as we leave adolescence, we stop being curious about, we stop poking and prodding it, we mask it with light, or drink, or sound, or love. When I was young, I thought Tosin in his 20s would be a lot less confused about himself. I thought he'd be a story that finally made sense. But I am an octopus. I get in my car and drive to the city. I play music and I write. I make YouTube videos. I apply for grad school and internships. I take all the steps I think I should take, and I still rub up against the glass wall. That inescapable echo, telling me that everything we do is inherently stupid and absurd and pointless and unconvincing, telling me that we will never outgrow our shame, never love ourselves. Spoiler alert, in Lionel Shriver's book, we need to talk about Kevin. A mother is left to grapple with her murderous son after he kills his classmates, as well as her husband and her daughter. Part of what makes the book so riveting and the movie so underwhelming is how deep into her son's psyche the mother tries to go, to the point where reading it can feel almost a little nauseating. Kevin, her son, seems an entity that from the moment it was born was fundamentally uninterested in being alive. He hated that he was born. He hated that he had to exist in a world where everyone else seemed to like being alive, seemed to want more of this so-called one wild and precious life. What could be so precious about it, he wondered. We are vile, hypocritical beings, only adept at the unconvincing performance of personhood. Most of us are obviously not quite like Kevin. There is, as Lionel Shriver puts it, an enormous difference between not liking yourself and not wanting to be here. But it's Kevin's relationship to the adults that really grips me. He is, in a chronic, devastating sense, disappointed. He can see through the mystery, and he finds, like I found, like I'm sure you found, that there is no assurance of personhood when one becomes an adult. We are still just as confused and amorphous as we've always been, only now people actually expect things from us, and as a result, our inner voice turns ever venomous. As Shriver writes, "The secret is there is no secret. That is what we really wish to keep from our kids, and its suppression is the true collusion of adulthood, the pact we make, the Talmud we protect." The birthday bar outing ends up being underwhelming and oddly sad. Troy Barnes and friends spend the night lying, meeting people who don't love them, pretending that they know who or what they are. At the end of the episode, as they drive home, you feel strangely sad for them. Troy discovers that L Street and the Red Door, the two bars Jeff and Britta have been arguing the superiority of, were actually the same fucking bar. The two so-called adults, calling each other's bar too hipster or too douchey, were in actuality just going to the same fucking place for all these years. How could they not have known? Were their perspectives that fucked and tunnel visioned? They literally loved the same bar for entirely oppositional reasons. Troy, naturally, does not take this well. He looked up to these people after all, thought they had the answers. This is what he says, this is how they respond.
It's the same bar? You two have been saying one bar is lame and the other one is awesome all night! And it's the same bar?
He probably goes there on Friday nights, which is lame.
You wish.
Stop! Just stop. I just spent the last 2 years thinking that you guys knew more than me about life. And I just found out that you guys are just as dumb as me.
Dadoy.
Yeah, Dadoy.
Got it. Dadoy. Dadoy.
When I was a kid, I was consistently, chronically bored. Apparently, when in captivity, octopuses will sometimes find ways to escape their tank, literally out of no other reason than boredom. As I've grown, I've seen many of my peers use a number of methods to escape their tank. Some used lies, other drugs, other bigotry. I've seen good men genuflect at the feet of Andrew Tate. I've seen the smartest of us impatiently poke holes in their parachutes because they can't wait to see the sky. Last Christmas, I visited the English countryside with my family. I got to see my sister for the first time in a while. She's a kid, but she's almost my height. Unlike most teenagers, she's kind. She lets me pretend I know what's going on, give her lectures. I ask her about comics she's reading. She breaks them down for me because she knows I love themes and analysis. I too want to tell her that there is no secret, that I don't know who or what we are. But like Kevin's mom, I'm scared. I guess I'm curious. Sometimes I sit in my tank, in my silence and boredom, and I'm convinced it'll kill me. Other times, I stare at the way my lamp forms a bubble of light in the corner of my living room. Other times, the trees sway in the wind and they look like people. The clouds move when they think I'm not looking. There is dust hiding beneath my monitor stand. My fingernails have grown long again. The streets in my neighborhood look like little rocks glued together. The bird's song sounds less like a song and more like a prayer. Both baby Tosin and my little sister deserve better answers. But I can't say whether or not it's a good thing to be an adult. I am generally suspicious of nostalgia, but I get the impulse. When I am in this place, paying attention to the unblinking world breathing around me, I feel it's the very opposite of nostalgia. I feel like paying attention, being astonished by the silence, is what I'm supposed to be doing as an adult, and yet strangely, in doing so, I feel like a kid again.
Do you think you ever did that when you were a young girl? Because I think I did. And I didn't know what I was guilty about, and I didn't know what I was loathing about myself. Probably that I was growing up and I didn't like myself in some ways. And any little misdeed I did, I felt was kind of horrifically big.
I think I was unfortunate because that only came to me much later. It would have been healthier for me had I gone through that at an early stage. But for me, it was much later, because I was given to believe when I was young that I was smart and bright and cheeky, and practically everything I did turned into something wonderful. So I sort of postponed the confrontation that I had around the time that I'm talking to you about, when there was only me and my own company.
That's when you did it?
That's when I did.
Yeah. Do you think everybody at some point needs that confrontation with themselves?
Absolutely. All of the characters in my books, whether they are successful or not, they're all pushed into that place where all the definitions of themselves are suspicious. You say you are my friend, Insula, let me see what friendship is. You have to simply be stripped down and made very lean, and so that you can see who you are. And then you make peace. It's difficult, but it's absolutely important. Otherwise, you never arrive at this delicious place called adulthood.
That's right. That's right. I think your book has got the merit of drawing.